Tap yourself in.
Right now. Welcome, one, welcome all. Welcome to the shit show, to another improv story by no other than Thunder Drummer. Amen. Alright, this is a story that I'm redoing from the days when I used to record small minute long stories on TikTok. Well, called The Great Pretender. There's a lot of analogies in there. There's a lot of my own views and stuff on certain topics that will come out to play throughout this story. I am redoing it, so there might be some facts and stuff between the two stories that may differ from time to time because, I do like an improv story. Well, I actually just think it's freaking cool that I'm doing it right off the top of my head, but hey, that's just. But the reason why I'm doing it this way is so I can correct some of the stuff that I was going to do throughout there, and so I can give it a new flavor. And I'm doing this a little bit longer than I was back then. I am still going to gradually follow the same course of events on everything, but it's just going to have a different feel. May have a little bit of a different feel moving forward. And one of the biggest reasons for that, I know I already said one of them, but another biggest reason for that, instead of only having like a minute or 3 minutes to cram with as much information as I humanly possibly could, I have as long as I want now. So here it goes. Keep in mind the setting of this. Um, he's a little boy at the time, um, being hid away in a village burning around him. He is not human. Our character is more of something akin to a DrangonBorn. Um, in like D&D settings. The people around him are all, DrangonBorn. So they look like humanoid dragons for the most part. For anybody that doesn't know what a Dragonborn is, or think I'm trying to steal it from Skyrim, well, he's lived in this village ever since he like little bitty because of his family. Which he doesn't know this part because of his family that wanted him to learn the ways of the dragon so he can learn how to control it. So he's been there for since probably 1.5, 2 years old. So this is basically all he knows. He doesn't really know his real family or anything, and his adopted mother, more or less, literally threw him into an unbreakable cupboard, locked the door. There was some, made sure there was some food in there, and then dropped it down in to make sure if anybody in this village is safe, he is. Um, Set not to release until um somebody either comes and gets him or no one living in the immediate area can hurt him. Well, before he was dragged to the scene, he sees fire all over the place. Sees big, big dudes in heavy armor, cutting through his family, his neighbors, his um, brush, um, literally cutting through just about everybody that he's ever loved through his entire life that he remembers. And I mean, of course, they're fighting back, but they're also fighting at 20-1 ratio of between Dragonborn and big people in these big monster suits of armor. He fell asleep. He literally fell asleep hearing nothing but screams all the way around him as this little mist come through the cracks of there, and he just passes out. He wakes up hungry. I mean, he grabs all the food in there and just starts chowing down. There was some like, and the food was like jerky, some canned foods, stuff. Keep in mind this boy looks like a dragon or a humanoid dragon at the time, and he's always had this unique ability to be able to look like a human if he so needs to be, or actually go full dragon, which most dragonborns in this universe was able to do. Well, the he hears the click and the door swing open. Hoping that his family was there to, mainly because, scared to death that his family were all dead. Come to find out when he crawls out of this little capsule looking thing, but he didn't realize it looked more like roundish than he looked round, and all what he saw made him immediately go into tears. He couldn't even scream, see the devastation that was around him. Seeing his friends, seeing his childhood crush. Keep in mind, this boy is only about 8 years old at the time. 8, 9 years old. I mean, he's a young boy. Seeing everybody he ever remembered knowing dead, sliced up, parts being parts missing off of him. And next thing you know, it's like a big boom and like a fire just flourishing out of his mouth like a not even it's not even red, it's more of a bluish flame that's coming out of his mouth. Tears. It's like, how the fuck? And you remember hearing that night, you're an abomination to our God. Our God. You're an abomination to our God. And then he remember hearing their God's name. And it confused him. It's like, my God, I am not an abomination to my own God. He couldn't understand why these humans used the name of his own God to kill them like that. Like, holy shit, what's wrong with these people? Well, he finally stopped crying after an hour of solid in search for some water. Um, Knowing a purifying spell just in case the invaders actually poisoned the water. He ended up purifying the water and then started chugging it down like no tomorrow. He looked around and he still can't believe the devastation that's charred buildings, buildings that are been burnt to the ground. His kid his friends that were kids, just, and then he just off running. They wanted me to survive, so I am going to survive at all costs. I don't care. At this point, I have to survive. And he takes off into the woods. But before he does grab a few weapons that he sees around him. Some padded armor that he had stashed away for when he used to hide out, and he grabbed a few as much as supplies he could in a backpack. One of the very few things that hasn't been burnt, and transformed into a human child. I'm going to survive. I don't need to look like monsters who came and killed everybody I ever knew. Well, um, he walked for several days eating here and there until he finally found a nice, decent spot, and he pretty much built a cottage. And when I mean built, I'm talking it looked a little bit better than a regular shack. It was basically a way to keep the wind off of him, to have a place to where he can store stuff without a bunch of animals. And he started hunting and stuff from there. One thing that he did remember is he remembered to train every day, like religion. Like it was his prime directive in his life. He had to train. Well, he did. About a year or two goes by like this, where he's training his mind, his body, his soul. Um, smarter um to be the best he can. He has all this stocked up. The meat he jerkied or dried or had a spell over it to keep rotting, and used to make different things with the herbs and stuff he came by. But this day was a little bit weird. There was a hunter coming through the woods. The hunter sees a little be a series of small shacks, and not knowing what to do, he just started hollered out, "Is there anybody out there?" Well, our protagonist, lack of a better word at the moment, comes out of one of the houses with his weapon drawn, and it's like, "What the hell do you want?" Oh, and it sounded more like, "What the hell do you want, sir?" Because he hasn't really spoken much to anybody hardly the past year or two. Right now, he's probably closer to 10 years old. I mean, time for somebody that's been living in the woods on a daily basis. Either he's training, eating, or sleeping. No time to talk, no time. And when I'm meaning he's training his mind just as much as his body and his abilities as a dragonborn. Well, the hunter looked back and was like, "You did all this? You did not answer the question." said Riley. He's like, "Oh, shit, kid. My name is Ray. Um, and I'm a hunter out here. But what you have done here is flat out amazing. Do you want to sell some of this meat?" The boy took back and was like, "Hell, meat? Food for the winter." Like, where are your parents? Dead, he said with a little bit more anger spewing out. Made the hunter killed by bandits in nice armor. At that point, the hunter stepped back a few more. Like, it's a hard life. It's a really hard life. I'll tell you what, I would like to buy some of this meat off of you. Or I can give you a place to live in the city, kid. Teach you how to talk a little bit, and I can also train you how to use that sword a little bit better that's on your side, and that spear. The Our protagonist was like, "What? What? What?" And I can get you a really good price of that off that a lot of that meat, and the rest of it yours, whatever we don't sell. Plus, make you a good little fortune to actually have your own place within the city, and then me and you can start hunting and stuff as well as me training you to get a little bit stronger to be able to take on a little bit better prey. What do you mean better prey? Monsters that kill us? I mean, we don't kill what we can't eat, and if anything has a sentient whatsoever, it should be under God's protection for be human, or to be not human, but be off the hunting list. That's what you're concerned about. Don't go out of our way to kill and eat kids. Laugh, joking. But it's kind of gave our protagonist a little bit of a chuckle. So, what's your name, kid? My name? Growled out for a second. Just call me Zay. Like, okay, Zay. That like short for Xavier or something? No, just Zay. Oh, okay, so just say. Just say it. Said that like like the kid went lap dropped for a second. What? Sorry, I have a bad sense of humor. But all right, Zay. Um, with me if you want to live. Ha 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 ha. But the humor is getting even worse in 5 seconds. The hunter just laughed. All right, well, my name is Ray Red Sabe. Come with me and put all your stuff into this little ring right here, which he did. He put it in two separate rings. gave the ring with all of his stuff in it to him. And it's like, this is a storage device that they use magic to store different things. He was like, wow, okay. He said it slowly. Well, like, you want to hunt a little bit on our way back to the town over here? I mean, it's a little bigger than a village, so it ain't that dramatic. No. Plus, I want to get your style on how you hunt too, so we can start working a little bit together. Like, stay, and they both go hunting together as they're hidden. They got a few different monsters out there. Took out their cores and shredded the meat and everything when they were there, and separated the hide and put it in each separate spot and rings, giving half to the kid and half to himself. Got about four different monsters, a few deer, one warthog, is borderline monster, borderline animal. They had traits of both. Those I would not exactly tear it apart or anything, because for a lot better price, just sell it like it is. They have their special ways of making it taste a lot better without actually having to do that. He's like, understand. So they ended up making it back to the town, and they went and sold just about all the meat, made a ton of money. Whatever preservation spell used, it was almost like it was still freshly. And he probably made out with about 4,000 gold from all the stuff that he hunted in the past, plus the monsters and hog, which the hunter only came out with a few hundred gold. Like, how is this fair? He laughed out loud. The boy looking at him, hunt. He's like, not fair at all. The boy laughed. And so his days actually, Harry thinks that he's actually gonna have a normal life. Well, a year goes by after this. He ended up buying a house right next to, and then they ended up connecting the house, but still having a door to be like, this is his own separate place. It was Ray, um, little girl Susan, which was about his age, and it was mother, um, Sadie. Sadie, um, Ray, and Sarah. Sadie, Ray, and Sarah. And he often was over there with stuff. And the guy actually started training them, and they started showing them separate different things. Eventually, he showed um, Ray what he really was, a Dragonborn and stuff. And the man really didn't care. He was like, thing of the story, it doesn't mean you're like a son. And hey, mind if we officially adopt you? His face lit up really, like, Yay! So they officially adopt him. Keep in mind, they've been still training this entire time. Um, Ray teaching him better technique, better ways to improve his standing and improve his different appearances that he honestly looked like he was training him how to be the perfect spy. Plus him being stronger than a dragon, pun intended. Um, this boy of nearly 10 years old, at that time, he was usually out of their version of a Bible, and some of the, I mean, they read that all lives are sacred under their God's name, which has different. The reason why I'm saying their God's name sounds differently. Song out of how their speech and stuff is. Well, like I said, a year goes by. He's nearly like 10, 11 years old at this. He's happy for once since devastation happened. He's happy. Hunts 3 days a week. The schooling with his adopted mother, and he trains every day with his adopted father in every form of combat, every form of like it's like a combination between spycraft and that he teaches them, and boy even teaches him greater methods on how to deal with stuff, how to deal with some magic stuff. They both made and even started teaching the daughter a little bit about magic, had a gift for magic. Things were really going good for the kid and everybody else. Till one day, a messenger came and came up to the father, and they went in the back room while the boy was hunting at the time. Saw two people in suits of that armor, and he finally saw the name on the armor, and they finally started saying, "Blessed are our God. Blessed is our God, for He is strange. Must be vigilant. Hunt of trying to take over the flesh of humans or of realms." Which confused him, so he actually snuck by them, found a few more people that were dressed in normal clothes, but knew from their body language stuff that they were with armor seeking monsters. Well, he goes back to the rendezvous for his adopted family, and the father was outright like his mind was full. Just couldn't handle what was just told, that there was a group of humanoid demons that were able to shapeshift, and it was, he was basically told a big lie about the DrangonBorn village. Thought this kid may have been one of the monsters. was there, well, um, the Great Pretender gradually comes up and is like, "What's wrong, father?" He looks at the boy. "What's wrong? You know anything about?" And he started telling him what. Then he grits his teeth, like, "Yes, I do. Those men in armor are the ones that um killed my family, my friends. Why?" And then the, he could tell that his father had really brain was working overtime, changed form, just like said the demons did in that village. Said you were from the village of those. That it felt like a axe went through his heart. His heart, great protection. Like, think I am a demon? Think I would hurt anybody that didn't deserve it? Think I would hurt anybody at all without defending myself? You've taught me better than that, father. Looks up at him. He realized what he just said to his adopted child. And he's like, he was about to say, "I'm sorry." And then before he knew it, Zay took off. Just took off running with tears coming down of his eyes. He thought he finally found a family. He thought he finally knew peace. That was then somebody he looked up to. Like, he's just going to look at me like that, like I'm a monster. He's going to turn me into those metal. Just before he even let out of his mouth, he ended up running smack dab into a branch. It broke the branch, but then when he was falling, he ended up falling right next to one of the guys, uh, and he saw the boy transform, and then all you could see is a little metal fist hit. Well, it wasn't little; it was a big human fist hit his face, covered in like a big gauntlet. Next thing he knows, he's in his Dragonborn form, looking around with his wings literally nailed down to the ground, him screaming in pain. Looking up, and a priest looking down at him with disgust, saying, "You men of yesteryear," and starts shaking this water on him. Which this was holy water. In any actual demon, it would actually hurt him. Thing about it was, thing that it kind of confused the priest. This holy water was actually healing him to some degree from all the bruises and stuff. How did his ability to negate holy water foul spawn? He looked and is like, "I am no more than a spawn of the devils and demons, and you are nothing more than a scabian, but soon headless soldier parts." it and burned. Rid of your stench, your evil rest of the days. Thought we grabbed all the survivors properly. Best one. Boy started like shaking, trying to. His wings were nailed to the ground. His arms were chained back, back behind, back like this, while his legs were pushed forward and chains around his pointed towards that way. So he was like in an awkward position like this. Any real movement hurt because either he moved forward and his started ripping wings out that's on his back, or he started moving back, started putting a lot more pressure in between back of his knees, causing that to hurt. No matter what position he was, like a torture, and not to mention there was a wooden rod he had up under his knee too to make everything worse. He looked down, and they started doing the circle around him, calling for the priest Omega to come and get rid of this spawn of evil demon that affected the DrangonBorn. Um, Back to the hunter Ray, he was running around frantically till he found one of the guys in armor. Started walking back. He stopped him right in front of him. And it's like, what are you doing here? We are here to hunt the remnants of the Devil Village. Fucking spawns of Satan right in front of. There was a survivor. Finally caught him today, and the great Omegas, great priest, comes purify that filth from the land. We'll find out who hiding them, take them out too. Like, excuse me? You're gonna kill a kid. How do you? And the guy in the metal suit eyes grew like crazy, and it's like, holiness. It's like, keep your. I am no more. I am not part of the church anymore. I am not a part of the suicide squads, and I'm definitely not part of. So I am no more a holier now than a common villager. What nonsense are you talking about? Then he grabs the dude by his throat, picks him up, and is like, tell me where you took the kid. The guy's eyes grew. Why do you want to know? Because he is my son, he said in gritted. I am made a mistake. I don't care if I have to fucking fight the entire church if I have to. With them, with him choking out with great fear, knowing how powerful this guy in front of him. A little bit of backstory on Ray. It's like a little small tidbit. Um, Ray's family was the head of the church for hundreds of millennia. were known as like the great seers of the church. These guys were the ones that had the murder squads and stuff, but for a lot more different reasons. The murder squads were actually out for actual um, people that were extremely and not what they did to that village. Um, him, his sister, and his father and mother, and plus a small group of relatives, aunts, uncles, but they were the God's favored children. They had more of ability to actually talk and really talk their God, deity, than most could. And there's a reason why. And Ray, it's when tested for the ability to become the high magus priest, um, scored so high that it wasn't even funny for the affinity to use holy magic, true holy magic. Where his sister scored about a 50 in holy magic and a 50 chaos magic, which kind of made everybody wonder a little bit. But the things she was able to do with combining different aspects of different things, plus the chaos magic he had the ability to break it down to realize that chaos magic is a combination of all forms of magic. Allowed her to be a great magus, a great um on her own right, a great priestess of religion. But she was also a lot more short sighted. And then a particular incident happened when they were kids that ended up killing the entire family, them two. And then Ray later on ended up walking out because he saw the corruption in the church ever since his family lost the general control over the church, wasn't going to have it anymore. Didn't have the technical know-how because he was mainly wanting to be the arms of the church, while his smarter sister, his sister, is an absolute genius. Um, she was an absolute genius. Well, as things go, as things were developing, an incident happened when they were young that killed all their family. Which I think I just said that. Just if I did, I apologize. Um, that some true dragons actually came and tried to wipe out their family because of a dealing with one of the lower priests accidentally killing one of their young. And when I mean it was an accident, I mean it was literally the dude fell off a cliff and landed with a sword front for first onto the baby dragon's head, ended up puncturing the head, going right straight throughout the mouth of the baby dragon. And then the servant literally fell on top of the sword being run through the opposite end, bleeding to death on this dragon, baby dragon. But because dragons were known for their, you know, niceties. They attacked the nearest or the nearest trying to find out what happened, and everything went dramatically wrong. Instead of actually talking, um, just a small war broke out that ended up killing most of all the family, except for the brother and sister were the only ones who survived. But after growing up, after um, Ray reached 25 years old, he was about to take over. Everybody wanted him to be take over as the priest, great priest Magus of this order. Um, but he knew that his sister would be better in that role because his sister, much smarter, had a lot better head on his shoulders, and he knew if he was to take over, um, bad things may happen because he still had a warlike mentality at this point. So he ended up backing away and ended up leaving the church altogether. Not actually leaving him as, and he became a hunter of this small town on the fringes of their kingdom. Which the church expands across the continent too. So they were just their main base was in this kingdom. Because in this land that we're in, gods were actually extremely powerful beings that allowed. It was kind of like a quid pro quo type deal. You abide by my teachings, I give you strength. Return your prayers, give you strength type deal. Were there God? Was he gods on a literal sense? No, they were just very powerful people that got ability, or basically very powerful beings. But this being was actually true and benevolent, and what she did to these Dragonborn, she didn't understand what was actually going on because he literally walked out of the thing. She not only being able to hear half the word, plus her own anger, prejudice, and on top of that, anything that had to do with dragons, she hated. There was one thing she didn't know. She was the one that actually accidentally caused the major destruction of the house, and her powers went overload. She was about to die. She saw her brother about to die, and her powers overloaded and actually killed just about everybody except for her brother. That's including a couple dragons. Not a weak adversary at all. He was thinking about this as running through the woods, and it's like, I really hope my sister hasn't blasphemed where took the words of God and turning it against the creatures. Because, like I said, he's been out of the loop, but he taught his kids, he taught the people in this village that their God is a benevolent God that loves all sentient life, teaches how to defend themselves against actual and defend themselves against actual monsters and stuff of this, and also believe that a sentience of the gods itself and needed to be flourished upon, built upon. Meaning, if a monster gained a sentience, it actually their own doctrine meant to help them grow as a species, which they did. They were meant to help everybody. That, but this new generation of priests and stuff, it didn't understand how corrupt they really are and how misused the teachings gods of the God used. It mind boggled him how this could actually happen. Why would church come after this little boy? He is no more demon than I am. Then he started actually rushing toward the closest church. When he got there, his mind was blown. The walls were all blown out. Bodies were everywhere. He looked around and felt the residual magic, like holy magic, actually trying to fight back against the tide of whatever this is. And he felt the ground. Channeled some of his own magic in the ground just to be pushed back. Like, God. Looked around. Then the one thing he did see that nobody was dead. They were either knocked out, groaning, picked up, slapped the priest that was in front of him, said, "Tell me now, what happened here? I am the sheriff of this village, of this small town. You will tell me what happened here, priest." He said it like he was spitting out venom. The priest was about to rebuke him, and then he realized who he was talking to. And he was saying gruntly, "Let me down and I'll tell you about that demon." As soon as he was about to say demon spot, he hit this priest so hard he slammed up against what was left of the building. The priest spat out blood and was like, "I would you? That boy was no more demon than you or I. Now tell me what the fuck is going on now." The priest's eyes went wide. He picks up an axe, and then a slight glow comes. You don't tell me what's gonna happen. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. Don't start talking soon. I'm gonna start cutting off limbs. Like, you know better than most what happens when you piss off. Fuck. Oh, when you piss me off. And then he was like, "Forgive me, forgive me." But these actions come from the very top. This boy is a freaking demon. And what exactly happened when you threw the holy water on him? Huh? You don't think I didn't think of that before I brought him around my own family? Oh yeah, and I am the one that what actually he was living with for the past few years. What the fuck do you plan on doing about that? The priest's eyes went big. It's like, oh, wait, when you hit the water on him, it healed him, didn't it? He's no more of a follower of those demon spawns than this freaking building is. Then he pricked priest up again, slam him up against the wall, and then slamming the axe right next to his face, cutting part of his face while slamming it into the brick. So now tell me what the fuck is going on? What the fuck happened here? Then the priest explained to him about the decree that they had to make sure that any living dragonborn from that village get wiped out because they were pure evil. He was livid. And then he looked at him and it's like, tell me what happened here. And then the priest eyes went big and then started telling him after he sat priest back down exactly what happened. The priest couldn't wait anymore, and so he took this sword and was gonna stab the dragonborn in his chest when before he knew it, his body started shaking, and when the biggest threat came down on top, a big blue light happened. It felt like the energies of the entire world were fighting against us, which he didn't understand at all because it felt divine in a sense. How could a demon feel this divine? And then he realized, but I still have to trust my priestess, what she says. And if she says that this is a demon, the demons, if they really did find a way to channel divinity, we're all dead. Then he tried to pick up the sword once more when all the next thing he knew, felt a fist in his gut, and then something hit his face and he was out like a light. And then he ended up starting to talk to a few of the other people and basically said that there was a big blue light that empowered the boy and started having a crystal type effect on everybody. Like an actual dome of power radiated from him, making everyone bow to a certain extent. They're out of pain, anger. Of course, they all fought it, and then just a flash come by, and they were knocked out one by one. Why would a demon let us live? The priest was about to say something before he's like, "That axe is still right over there. Do you want me to?" Priest, shut up. And then he started talking to everybody. Why would the church go after a innocent dragonborn village? Because they were channeling evil aspects of the world. So you were told, or did you actually think to actually try to investigate yourselves? It's our job to follow our commands of our God. You know that of all people. Why are you helping this demon? You of all people. Exactly. You think me of all people, with the abilities I do have at my disposal, what I taught that kid You think a demon could learn how to do what he did, or even let yours be here, or even your souls be, instead of trying to feast on your souls to drain power, which is one of the reasons why we actually started confronting the demons to begin with. Because using the soul as a power source is an affront to all the gods, let alone our beloved God that preaches love and compassion beyond all others, teaches you how to heal before you kill, teaches you exactly what that fucking boy did, teaches you exactly what my son did. With that grounding, you have no idea. If I was not the man I have always been, you guys would all be dead under my feet right now. The growl came out with much venom that he could possibly muster. Now, because of me and your fucking filth here, my son will be alone. And then he just dropped down and started crying. And he did, like, lights around him started showing. People started getting heat while he was. And he looks up at the heavens. Please, God. Please, my God. Allow my boy to strength. Allow my boy to fight against the world. Allow my boy to hide and out where the corruption of this church is from. Using of his power, God answered him back. You should be the herald of me. Instead, you let your sister, goddess. I understand, like, which I never just felt because of it. Are still my champion, regardless, are part of the. Are still prey, knowing more than most. Places both me and you. Frustrating, looking frustrating and a little bit torn. The entire situation, but your boy, your adopted son, will be all right. Trust me. This was kind of a test for him, guys. Could have wiped out all these. Could have erased all evidence of his existence. Walked on without any, instead of letting all these poor souls die. Saved them. he could never be a priest or a devout follower. So I helped him release his latent ability, stronger, be more vigilant. One day you will see your son again. Just make sure that when that day comes, you deserve his love. And crying still can. He walked home. His mother, daughter, wife came rushing out of the house. You okay? Something happened to the church over there. What's going on? What's going on? Where is Zay at? Where's my boy Zay? And then daughter came out. Where is Zay? Where is Zay? They ran away. Church over there tried to. It was my fault that they caught him. And immediately the wife took the pan that was in her hand and slammed it against Ray's head. All the force that she can muster. Everything she can muster, she hit him. How fucking dare you do that? Just because he ain't biologically our kid, he is our. Seeing his tears coming down his face. Just sitting there crying. Trust me, I know. And he proceeded to tell both daughter and wife what happened, what role he played. He expects his parents are actually are. His true parents are. I am going to go find Venture Darkwing, see if he can help me get a way to talk to the prey. Started packing up. Like, you're leaving right now? Yes. Really think this Darkwing can give you answers about? Yes. Anything. Help you track down our suspect him by all heavens. Everything I can up for my mistake. I see my sister mock her. It's weak. Before he left the house, he went to private study, shut the door, and broke open the box. Put his hand on the box and put magical pressure within the place. Next thing you know, you see what looks to be a hologram of a very beautiful woman, in her mid 20s, What do you want, brother? That kid that destroyed our church, that demon spawn, that draconic demon spawn that tried to destroy our church is off limits. Sister, excuse, do I need to send an inquisition out to you? Before she, watch your words carefully, sister. I indulge you enough. You know what I had to go through to help proceed to get where you're at right now. That kid is off limits. Do you understand me? Are you protecting it? You call him a demon spawn. I swear to freaking Christ, you'll see my fucking fury like you have never seen it before. He is my adopted son. He is your adopted nephew, princess. She gritted her teeth. How fucking dare you? Why would you call him a demon? I swear. You know exactly what I had to go through. Make sure everybody didn't try to kill you, sister. Just so there would be no doubt in my mind that I would sit right there. That my family would be up there where the Herald spots used to be. Where the hell did you get on about wiping out dra- Dragonborn villages? Dragonborns are evil, just like those damn dragons are. Intelligence, understanding, love, compassion, fighting true evil, eliminating freaking corruption. Looks like you're doing a damn good job, sister. All I got to tell you right now, that boy is protected not only by me, but by our sovereign, by our God. What? And that was directly divination from himself. Sister, you need to learn to purify yourself so you can actually speak to him yourself. I know if any of these words got out of here, it'd be devastation for us. We are the last of the line. Or one of the most kindest souls I've ever known. I don't understand how you can do, because they're fucking draconic evil. They were had, and she sprouted out some nonsense that he knew that wasn't true. It doesn't matter. That boy is protected. You go after him. You go after me. You come after me or my family. You are no longer my sister. Do you understand me? Her eyes went big. Would choose this demon. And then a surge of electricity burst onto the other end, shocking. Say that again. You would choose this boy over your own flesh and blood. I would choose that boy that has done nothing wrong and has seen more horrors in his life. I have finally was able to get him to actually get over some of the shit that you just brought up in an instant. You even made me question everything for a minute before I realized who I actually worship. Do you not understand everything you're doing right now is against our own code? That boy is protected. Do you understand me? He gave out a little sigh. That's how you see it. You're done. That boy will be protected, but we will not show a hand of mercy or show him a hand of destruction. Not try, not lay a finger on that boy. But we are done. I can't believe it wasn't just me protected. I wanted that balance. The last word she said, bye, destroys her device, crumbled. She knew what that symbolized. Hey, sister, you're regret everything done. The sister immediately made a proclamation to her brother, disavowed the God. He is no longer protected by the church. He It's made a lot of the elders of the really pissed off. Some of the elders in the higher level pissed off, but they had no other choice at the time. Back to Ray at his front door, wife, and I will bring our son back and bring not my brother. Why do you always insist that? I know you love him more than anything. Why in the world do you always insist on him not being your brother? She looks up there without. Because if he was my actual biological brother, Shadow was like, that man will be mine one day. You're 11 years old. You should not be thinking like that. Not my brother, but I love him more than anything in this world. Ellie, bring him back, Father. Yeah, and what I do, I'm definitely gonna put locks on that door to keep you from trying to seduce me. He said that under his breath. Like, I'll bring your brother back. I don't know how long I'll be gone. Just remember what I've taught you both. keep in mind, the wife is no slouch when it comes to um she was a warrior mage and was a general in the military. One of the people that actually was just under talk like they had the generals and then they had the she was a brigadier general that refused to move up because she didn't want the responsibility of more shit. She eventually retired to marry this guy in this small village, which what nobody knows, they own the entire village. But I was waving off and it's like, bring back my son. Waving out. The next thing you know, he's oof, gone, running in the direction looking on to looking for Darkwing, for he might be the save not only my son, but the church itself.